Okay, real talk. I want you to picture two people. Person A wakes up at 6:15 a.m., hits snooze twice, chugs a coffee that costs $7, sits in traffic for 45 minutes, works at a job they mildly tolerate, eats a $16 lunch they barely taste, comes home exhausted, watches Netflix for 2 hours, and then goes to bed to do it all again. Person B wakes up whenever they want, and I mean whenever they want, makes coffee at home, goes for a morning walk, works on whatever project they actually give a rip about, and hasn't set an alarm in 3 years. Now here's the kicker. Person B is not a millionaire tech bro. They didn't sell a startup. They just cracked the code on living a genuinely good life on $50,000 a year. And because of that, they retired early, like really early. And today, I'm going to break down exactly how that life looks, not in the spreadsheet, in real, actual daily life. Because here's what nobody tells you. The 50K lifestyle isn't a life of sacrifice. It's actually a life most people with six-figure salaries would be jealous of. I know, you're already typing in the comments, Maddie, 50K doesn't even cover rent in my city. And look, I hear you. I'm going to address that. But first, let me frame this correctly. Because the number isn't actually the point. The ratio is the point. Here's the math, and we're using the 4% rule as our baseline. Yeah, people debate it. Some people like 3.5%, some like 3%. The point is the same either way. Spend less, need less invested, get there faster. So if you spend $50,000 a year, you need $1.25 million invested to retire. That's it. Now compare that to someone spending $100K a year. They need $2.5 million. Someone spending $150K, $3.75 million. You see what's happening? Every dollar you cut from your lifestyle doesn't just save you a dollar, it reduces the finish line. And $50,000 a year, by the way, isn't poverty. The median household income in the US is about $80,000, but that usually includes two earners. For a single person, $50,000 puts you close to the middle. The question is how you spend it. So let's build the life. 1. Housing. This is where most people either win or lose the entire game before it even starts. The 50K lifestyle allocates roughly $15,000 to $18,000 a year for housing. That's $1,250 to $1,500 a month. And before you quit, you have two options. Option 1, geographic arbitrage. This is the big one. And I don't mean moving to a cave in the middle of nowhere. I mean being strategic about where you live. There are genuinely beautiful, walkable, culturally rich cities in this country. Think Asheville, North Carolina, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Tucson, Arizona, Boise before everyone discovered it, Greenville, South Carolina. Places where roughly $1,200 to $1,400 a month can still get you a decent one-bedroom. Option 2, go smaller intentionally. The average American home is over 2,300 square feet. The average home in Japan is about 1,000 square feet. There is a mountain of research showing that after a certain point, more house does not equal more happiness. It equals more stuff to clean, more rooms you don't use, and more money disappearing from your retirement account every month. The 50K lifestyle person doesn't have a McMansion. They have a home that's enough, and enough is where freedom lives. 2. Transport. The average American spends over $12,000 a year on their vehicle. That includes payment, insurance, gas, maintenance, and parking. $12,000 per year on a depreciating asset that sits parked 95% of the time. I'm not saying you need to ride a unicycle to Whole Foods. I'm saying the 50K lifestyle person thinks about this very differently. Here's what that looks like in practice. They own a reliable used car, outright, no payment, something in the $8,000 to $15,000 range that gets them where they need to go without the ego trip. They spend around $4,000 to $5,000 a year total on transportation, insurance, gas, maintenance, the occasional Uber when it makes sense. And here's the lifestyle unlock that nobody talks about. When you're early retired, you're not commuting. You're not doing 15,000 miles a year on your car because you're not driving to an office every single day. Your transportation costs naturally drop when you have control of your time. They also choose to live somewhere where they can walk or bike to things. Coffee shop, grocery store, gym, trails. Walkability isn't just a vibe, it's a financial strategy. 3. Food. This is the one where people think early retirement means living on rice and sadness. Absolutely false. The 50K lifestyle budgets about $500 to $600 per month on food. That's $6,000 to $7,200 a year for one person. Here's the thing nobody wants to admit. The biggest food expense in most American budgets isn't groceries, it's restaurants. The average American spends over $3,000 a year eating out. And here's the painful truth, most of those meals are not even that good. It's sad desk lunches, fast food between meetings, and Thursday night takeout because you're too tired to think. When you're early retired, you have time. Time to cook. Time to actually enjoy cooking. And cooking at home isn't just cheaper, it's genuinely one of the highest rated sources of satisfaction in quality of life studies. There's something deeply satisfying about making a meal from scratch. The 50K lifestyle person shops at Trader Joe's, hits the farmer's market on Saturday mornings, cooks most meals at home, and treats dining out as an actual treat, not a survival mechanism. They're also not eating sad food. They're eating good food. Whole ingredients, real meals, the occasional nice dinner out. The difference is it's intentional, not desperate. Healthcare. Okay, here it is, the big scary one, the one everyone in the comments is going to ask about. Valid concern. Not going to sugarcoat it, healthcare in America is genuinely wild, and it's one of the real challenges of early retirement. But it's a solvable problem. Let me break it down. When you're early retired and your income is low, say $50,000 a year, you qualify for ACA marketplace subsidies. These are health insurance subsidies that are income-based. And if you're structuring your retirement income well, which is a whole other video, your actual taxable income might be significantly lower than your spending. Many early retirees in the 50K lifestyle zone end up paying $200 to $500 a month for solid health coverage after subsidies. Budget around $3,000 to $5,000 a year for health insurance and out-of-pocket expenses, and you're in a reasonable ballpark. Is this the same as having a corporate plan where your employer covers 80%? No, but it's also not the apocalyptic nightmare people imagine. It's manageable, it's budgetable, and honestly, when you're not stressed out of your mind at a soul-crushing job, your health tends to improve anyway. I'm just saying. 5. Fun. All right, now for the fun part. The 50K lifestyle has a fun and travel budget of roughly $5,000 to $7,000 a year. And with that, you can do more than most people do on twice that amount. Here's why. Time is a massive multiplier for fun. When you're early retired, you travel on Tuesdays. You book flights for mid-January, not during spring break when prices triple. You have the flexibility to road trip, to slow travel, to rent an Airbnb somewhere cool for a month because you're not eating up vacation days. You can do a 2-week trip to Portugal on $3,000 because you're not rushing, you're cooking some meals, and you're not paying resort prices because you booked 3 months out on a Wednesday afternoon while everyone else was in a meeting. Free and cheap entertainment is actually underrated. Hiking, biking, reading, cooking elaborate meals as a hobby, community events, concerts in the park, local festivals, the library, which is, and I will die on this hill, one of the most underutilized incredible resources in America. The 50K lifestyle person has hobbies that cost almost nothing and bring enormous satisfaction. Because here's the psychological truth. We adapted to abundance and got bored with it. Intentional simplicity actually restores the joy in things. It's good to note that this budget is for a single person. For a couple, the math gets even better. You're splitting housing, utilities, transportation. 2 people can live extremely well on $70,000 to $75,000 combined. Okay, so we've been talking about this 50K budget as a baseline, but I want to talk about what happens when you've actually done the work. Because for a lot of people watching this, the math gets dramatically better, like laughably better. First, the paid-off mortgage. If you own your home outright, your entire housing cost drops to property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. We're talking maybe $4,000 to $6,000 a year instead of $15,000. That's $9,000 to $11,000 a year you just freed up every single year for the rest of your life. And since you need 25x your annual spending to retire, that $10,000 in savings doesn't just save you $10,000, it removes $250,000 from your required portfolio. $250,000 gone from the finish line, just from owning your home free and clear. And if you're sitting there going, but I have a mortgage, fine, that's what the 50K version is for. But if paying off the house early is on your radar, this is exactly why it makes sense for certain people. It's not just about the interest savings, it's about permanently shrinking your overhead. Second, the paid-off car. No car payment means you're running on insurance, gas, and maintenance only. That could be $2,500 to $3,000 a year total. Compare that to the average American's $12,000. You just freed up nearly $9,000 a year in your budget. $10,000 gone from the expense column forever. Seriously, a paid-off, reliable car is one of the most underrated financial assets in existence. Third, you qualify for Social Security. We're talking about early retirement, so yes, you're funding this yourself for a stretch. But eventually, whether that's at 62, 67, or 70, Social Security shows up. And for most people, that's $1,500 to $2,500 a month, depending on your work history. Let's say you get $1,800 a month. That's $21,600 a year landing in your account automatically, which means your portfolio only needs to cover the gap, maybe $28,000 to $30,000 a year instead of $50,000. And at that point, you can do so much more with the extra. The point isn't to hit exactly $50,000. The point is to figure out the minimum life that would make you genuinely happy and build toward that with intention. Before you run off and build your spreadsheet, there is one thing most people forget. Taxes matter more than people realize. That $50,000 you plan to spend each year has to be after taxes, not before. The good news is that many early retirees fall into a very favorable tax position. If a large portion of your income comes from long-term capital gains or Roth account withdrawals, your federal tax bill can be surprisingly low. In some cases, it may be minimal. But this outcome doesn't happen automatically. It depends heavily on how your retirement accounts are structured, whether your money is in traditional accounts, Roth accounts, or taxable investments. That's why tax planning should happen before you retire, not after. Here's the thing I want to leave you with, because I think this is the real key. The 50K lifestyle is not about giving things up. It's about figuring out what actually makes you happy, and I mean actually, not what you've been told should make you happy, and optimizing relentlessly for that. Most of our spending is on autopilot. It's habitual, it's social signaling, it's keeping up with people we don't even like that much. The 50K lifestyle forces you to be intentional. And when you become intentional, something wild happens. You realize most of what you were spending on wasn't making you happy anyway. The bigger car, the bigger house, the constant upgrades, the subscription to the thing you forgot you had. None of that. None of it was doing what you thought it was doing. What actually moves the needle on human happiness, according to basically every study ever done? Strong relationships, autonomy over your time, meaningful work or projects, physical health, a sense of purpose, nature, community. Guess what all of those things have in common? They're either free or extremely cheap. The 50K lifestyle isn't a sacrifice, it's a correction. It's getting off the hamster wheel and asking, wait, what did I actually want this whole time? And the answer, almost always, is time, freedom, the ability to wake up and choose. Most people spend their whole lives trying to afford a lifestyle they barely have time to live. That's what $50,000 a year can buy you. Not stuff, life. If this video helped you think differently about retirement, lifestyle, or what money is actually for, hit that like button. Let me know in the comments, is 50K enough for your retirement? I'll see you in the next one.